A lot of people, they fall into it, akhi, yeah. So many people you speak to, and you're talking, and they say, yeah, we've got a mortgage, and you think, oh, but it's from, we know from a bank that doesn't provide halal mortgage, yeah. To advise them, what can we do? Like, is it an easy transaction? Let's say I owe 100,000 on a house, and that is owed in a haram mortgage setup. Can I swap to a halal one with ease? Is it easy to do?
Yes. So if you go to a the Islamic bank, who will arrange the finance product for you, obviously they're going to take in consideration, if you can pay the mortgage off what you already have on the property. So if your circumstances are such, you can pay off the the haram mortgage on the property. The Islamic bank, they're going to pay off for you the haram mortgage, then they'll register their interest against your property. So thereby, you've transferred your property now from a haram mortgage to a halal mortgage. So halal mortgage company will have now interest, on your property.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's quite simple, really.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, man. There you go, brothers and sisters. If you're thinking about it, you want to change, you've got a haram mortgage, you need a halal one, you can call up now, 0203 627 6857. Get some advice, inshallah ta'ala. Now, I'm going to move over to you, brother Nasser, mashallah. I saw you make some notes. Have you got questions?
Yeah, no, just...
Oh, mashallah, you learn. See, this is why I use, mashallah, sharp men in sharp suits, because you're learning, and I've made notes as well. So we're in the same boat, mashallah, yeah? Now, my question for you, my brother, let's say if I own a property, and at the bottom of the house, we have it was previously built years and years ago with permission, previously built, kind of like a shed, but it's a brick built shed, quite a decent size, yeah, big enough to you could maybe turn it into a residential property. And just by luck, when you did it, you actually put running electricity to it, yeah, but not a soil pipe or anything, yeah. But is it in these days? Is it easy to apply for permission from the council to turn that into a residential property? Is there a process required?
I think you've hit about 5 different issues.
I'm so sorry.
You bought a property. First of all, was that the nature of that building disclosed to you at the time of your purchase? Because that's one of the fundamental questions the sellers have to supply to you. Okay, so generally speaking, if it was built, again, the first question you asked about how long it has been. So you have to look at the enforcement action. You don't want to buy a house with a shed to find enforcement officers the weekend after you move, wanting it. So that's the first point. Secondly, the planning process itself is quite stringent, and each local authority operates its own procedure. Generally speaking, the health and safety issues are obviously of paramount importance. So you would have to contact your local authority, buildings control and planning office, and get what you could do, a pre-application advice. Now, we had a case, and I've actually gone through something similar myself. What you have to remember is it's just an opinion of the council. So you could approach the council and say, look, here's my architect, we have these plans. Would you be interested to entertain the idea? They would tell you point blank, yes, it's a good project, or not so. What is also important is, as Islam obviously says, the right of your neighbour. The consultation process will first of all consult your next door neighbours, and there's a circle that's drawn from where you are. So it could be part of next door street's garden is quite close to where this building be. They might get a letter. So it's very difficult to say yes or no, you will get planning permission, but the process is well publicised on each local authority's websites, and building controls are more than happy to assist. And the pre-application is always a good idea, because it kind of gives you an opportunity where you stand. And the other thing, as you mentioned in your introduction, we should comply with the laws of the land. And I think the local authority, this is a personal experience of a family member who approached the council to build a number of flats, but there were issues in terms of amenities, privacy with the next door neighbours, overseeing through someone's kitchen window. But through a 12-month process, the planning office was able to say, look, we understand there's a shortage of houses in this country. We want to entertain and accommodate proposals. This is what we think you should do. And believe it or not, there was certain leeway, I think, which only was secured purely because you were able to approach, and it gives the impression that you want to work with the local office and to get what's best for you. Obviously Because if you add a planning development to your property, it will not that I'm qualified to comment in terms of valuation, but give or take, it will add to your value of your property. So, there's no definitive answer in law, you know. But what we're obviously here tonight, and we work in close partnership with Eman. So if there are any viewers who have any particular concerns, if we can't address them tonight, you know, we're always, you know,
so the door's open, as they say.
Always.
Yeah? It's not just because the channel closes at 9:30 for the show that you're not going to be able to get your answer. But if you do have any queries, you know what you need to do, guys. The number's down there: 0203 637 6857. That's 0203 637 6857. Call up, inshallah. If you've got, look, we've got two esteemed guests, mashallah, who know what they're talking about. They've been there, done that. Wore the t-shirt, as they say. The brother said he's had experience in it, yeah? So if you have those questions, inshallah, please call up and put your question to the panel. And inshallah, if we're able to, they will answer it. Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. I've got another question for you, brother Nasir. Now, let's say you own a property outright, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, and you want to transfer that property, yeah, to a spouse's name, yeah. Now, obviously, it's your wife or your husband, whichever way it is, you know, wife or husband, and you are the current owner of that property, and you want to transfer that property to their name, because of inheritance reasons. You're worried, you know, your eyesight's going a bit. You think you might have a crash on the way home. Allahu Alam, yeah. You're back from Fajr. You're tired, yeah, and you don't want to be her having to inherit it. You'd rather it already be partly in her name, yeah. What is there a process to that, or what's the correct methodology of doing that? Okay,
what you're dealing with here is transfer of title. The fundamental question is, does this property have a mortgage? If there is a mortgage, then the consent of the lender will be needed, and a process of transfer of equity will need to be actioned. That's the first aspect. Second point, if there wasn't a mortgage, say it's free of mortgage, it's a freehold title, you would have to instruct solicitors, and you can action that. But in terms of inheritance, what you have to remember is solicitors, you know, they're not qualified to give complicated tax-related advice. But what is important is for you to contact the tax advisor, and he would obviously direct in terms of what tax avoidance. What's important to note here, Brother Farrukh, is you have tax evasion, which is a criminal offence, and you have tax avoidance, which basically allows you, within the ambit of the law, an opportunity to take advantage of certain tax concessions. So the tax side of it, obviously, a qualified tax accountant would best advise. But if you had a mortgage, you would have to, without the consent of the bank, you could not transfer the property. In a lot of the cases, it does depend on the restriction that the bank registers. I'll give you an example. Say you take mortgage from Bank X, 3 years down the line, without telling them, you transferred it to your auntie because you had these concerns. By the time they check the title, the property's changed hands. They need to know, and there's a restriction, recording procedure at the HM Land Registry, who direct the points across. So with the bank, it's a more procedural exercise. Without a bank, it is very straightforward. There are inheritance tax and capital gains tax potential implications, not for you as the owner, but for the transferee, the person who's receiving. So you would be the donor, but the donor would have capital gains tax implications, which would need to be investigated in full.
SubhanAllah. So it's not as simple as add your wife to the deed.
It is, if you go to a good lawyer.
Yeah,
we'll take care of it.
Oh, I like that, mashallah. If you go to the right man, so I see that he's got a beautiful smile, mashallah. So he's kind of like saying, you come to the right place, we'll hook you up. So mashallah, there you go, brothers and sisters. It's not always about the question, it's also about who you're asking the question to, mashallah. Jazakallah for that. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Now, I have a question for you, brother. I think there's a little WhatsApp one came through. Somebody's watching the show, they chucked a little WhatsApp in, subhanAllah. They want to know, what's wrong with a mortgage, Islamically? What is the problem with a normal mortgage? Why are they haram? What makes them haram? Bismillah, if you're able to, bro.
Yeah, normal high street mortgages, you pay interest, or what you borrow. And interest, we know Quran and Sunnah says, it's not permissible. So, simple fact of the matter is, it's not allowed. Interest, based products is not allowed. In Islamic view, practicing Muslim. Why should you go, for that mortgage? Now, subhanAllah, in this country we have alternative, finance, which we're talking about earlier, if these products are available, alternative finance where interest is not, charged on what you borrow, then go for it. Yeah.
So you can get your old 0% in that, isn't it? 0% loan, whatnot. So that's obviously halal, brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah. Now, you due to interest being haram, what exactly is because how do we define what interest is that's haram? Yeah, is it that there's a transaction, so to speak? So say, as an example, look, you want to buy my clipboard. You need £100. You got 50. You give me 50. I lend you 50, or I let you have the clipboard and you owe me 50, but I say you got to give me £5 a month for 12 months. Yeah? So you're paying 60s, but yet it's only worth 50. Is that the interest? What exactly, how do we define it exactly? It's a tough question, brothers and sisters, some of the questions we're getting, subhanAllah, I think they're very intricate and deserve a lot of time for them, but in a nutshell, I believe it's if there's a transaction where one party is unable to pay or requires a loan, and that person says, yes, I'll give you the 50 quid, Farrukh, but you got to give me 60 quid back, increasing the amount, therefore it's interest. Am I right? In a nutshell.
Yeah, in Islam, you can't make money from money. Yeah, it has to be, you have to be engaged in a trading activity. Yeah, so essentially that's what's going on. You're making money on top of what I owe you. So that element is not allowed.
Yeah, so you can't just loan out money and then if I can't pay it back, you take everything off me.
Yeah.
It's a bit ruthless, isn't it? SubhanAllah. That's probably why it's not allowed, brothers and sisters, You know what I mean? Your heart, Allahu Akbar billahi alhamd. Right, brothers and sisters, you know what to do. Pick up the phone, 0203 637 6857. We do have a caller, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad, how are you?
I'm very well, brothers. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. Muhammad, what would you like to ask our esteemed guests, bro?
I'd like to ask Mr. Ali that can there ever be a commercial lease contract without an extended guarantor? What is the need to have an extended guarantor?
Oh, that's a very specific question. So you're asking our beautiful brother, mashallah, that if you were to get a commercial lease on a property, is it required or is it a must that you have an extended guarantor?
Does the landlord have to always request an extended guarantor? Is this the standard with every commercial contract, commercial lease?
Okay.
Can I ask Brother Muhammad a question in turn?
Yes.
Brother Muhammad, assalamu alaikum.
Islam?
Yeah, just what can I just ask what you mean by extended guarantor? Because generally speaking, you have the term guarantor. So is there anything you have in mind?
Yeah, so sorry, I should have clarified. So I mean a guarantor, is that a standard with every commercial lease or commercial contract?
Are we looking at a term of at least 15, 21 years? Commercial, say for a chip shop or a pizza shop?
Anything ranging from 20 years to 100 years.
Okay. Generally speaking, what you have, if I can just explain, Brother Farrukh, you've got a relationship between a freeholder, who would be the landlord in this instance. They would grant a lease, license to occupy a premises, for in Brother Muhammad's example, for a shop. But then there would be certain clauses which are designed to protect the landlord's position. As I said with the other question, where you have a bank, they wouldn't want to know that you've just transferred your property to without them knowing. The landlord puts similar provisions in the lease, which basically say if you assign the lease, which is basically to transfer, that cannot be done until reasonable requirements of the landlord are met. Now, the question is, what are those reasonable requirements? In a lot of the cases, they include references. So a landlord wouldn't be happy giving access to a lease, because say I take a property from someone and I'm feeling that the clouds are lurking and I want to get out of this. Let's transfer it to someone who's never traded in the line of business in their life, and for me to simply transfer, it's doomed. It's a time bomb, waiting to happen. So in that perspective, the landlord will say, I want reasonable references. And a lot of the cases, they ask for bank reference, an accountant reference, and trade references, just to illustrate that this individual, that the lease, the residue term of the lease, which is the remaining term, it will be fit and proper to run so it's a proper exercise. So that's the first thing. Second to that is the costs. Now, if you assign a lease, take a 21-year lease, it would be unreasonable to expect the tenant to transfer it 10 times without the landlord having to pay out of his own pocket. Solicitors do charge for their time. So, but that's the second point. Third point, looking at those two, it may be the case that the tenant, the proposed tenant, and this comes back to Brother Muhammad's question, the proposed tenant may not have the suitable standing for him to inherit the lease. In that instance, the landlord, rightfully so, could ask the tenant to act as guarantor, and that's why I wanted to ask what he meant, what Brother Muhammad meant by extended. Generally speaking, and in that case scenario, it's a lot of the times it's the current tenant who takes a guarantee to perform the obligations of the other tenant in case he doesn't, which are basically the promises within the lease. What is important to remember is the landlord by law cannot deny you the right to assign. Okay, that's very important, because I've had personally a lot of clients where the landlord has tried to do that, and we've taken proper legal proceedings against them, and the systems in this country allow us to access the courts through the proper channels and allow us the opportunity to, justice needs to be done and seems to be done.
Right thing,
so so there's nothing stopping the landlord, which is answer to Brother Muhammad's question, asking for a guarantor, which is permissible. But what is important to remember is, if the landlord, the tenant feels is acting unreasonably, and that does happen from time to time, not everyone's the same, it's important to secure proper legal advice from your lawyer and say, right, we need to tell this chap, I'm sorry, but you're acting outside of the law. So the lease would generally allow the tenant to act, or someone else of similar position, and it is a privity of contract relationship between the landlord and the tenant. So it's not set out in law. If they agree we don't want a landlord, that's fine as far as the law is concerned. But the law tries to find a balance between the rights of the landlord and the rights of the tenant. So no party is done over, so to speak. Okay.
Allahu Akbar. Brother Muhammad, are you there? Oh, he went, subhanAllah. He waited until right near the end, and then he said, mashallah. You must have got to the point he wanted answered. Jazakallahu khair to that, mashallah. That was a lot over my head, but brothers and sisters, this is why it's important we speak to those people, because when you come across incidents, you start to know about it, and you start getting worried, like, oh, what do I do here? Subhanallah. It can be quite tricky, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides us, and with a great example in the Quran, when he says, if you do not know, go to those who know. Allahu Akbar. So if you don't know, you go to those who know. Jazakallah khair. That was a beautiful answer. Now, quickly moving back to you, bruv. We're actually coming towards the end of the show already, subhanallah. But I've got a question for you. Now, we got going to a break, should I exclaim. Now, subhanallah, when it comes to just personal Islamic loans, obviously we know about Islamic mortgages, but for a personal Islamic loan, is there any available in the UK? Is there any way that we can get personal Islamic loans, and are they halal for us? Like, someone who will loan us, say, 10,000, guaranteed against something, and we promise to pay them back, but we only pay them back 10,000. Is that something that's available in the UK? Do we have these products?
I mean, have seen banks offer Islamic based loans. So again, the principles go back to the Islamic principles of ijara, which is leasing, and musharaka agreement. These principles underline every product which is out there. So Al Rayan Bank, I'm sure they offer this kind of service for a personal loan. I mean, I predominantly deal with Islamic mortgages that come from Al Rayan, but I haven't been exactly involved in loans, but have seen available on the internet. Al Rayan, personal knowledge, they do offer loans. Definitely.
Okay, and of course, brothers and sisters, there's not much products out there available to the Muslims, Allahu Akbar, but you should shop around to try and find whatever the best deal is available to you, and whoever is the person who's providing it. Perhaps your neighbour, Brother Muhammad, maybe. he might be able to give you a personal loan, inshallah ta'ala. So you should, but what I'm trying to say is just shop around, try to look for as many different, because there are sometimes other available people to take your loans off. Jazakallahu khair. If you have any questions in regards to Islamic mortgages or to any sort of property law, pick up the phone 0203 637 6857. That's 0203 637 6857. And I've got a quick question for you, brother Nasser, mashallah. Swimming pools. Yeah? Say I want a swimming pool. I'll just dig a little hole in my garden, yeah? Lay a bit of, you know. Is that something that's allowed for me? Because it's something that could be easily put back. I just dig a hole, you know, make it nice, smooth it out, yeah? And then, you know, waterproofing, etc., tiling. If I want a swimming pool, can I just dig a swimming pool and make it in the garden?
Can you swim?
I'm a pretty good swimmer, alhamdulillah,
okay.
alhamdulillah.
That's
yeah.
good. I've never had that one in my life, to be honest, in 15 years of working.
Oh, really?
Someone's
It's a random one that I just made up. And
it's a good one because it's got me thinking, which is...
Because I weren't sure if you'd have to have permission for it, because you're digging a hole.
Yeah, I mean...
And you can easily fill it back in, it's not something...
Generally speaking, planning permission is required for anything that constitutes development, okay? That's my understanding. And if you were to build a swimming pool, and I'm speculating here to a certain extent, I would have to check, I'm honest enough to say, that you would have to check with the planning office to say, because you don't want to be in a position where you call contractors onto your premises and they build or construct a swimming pool, and then to find that the council obviously have issues with it. There's other issues which the council may look into, take into consideration. For example, you know, what do your neighbours think? You know, where will the swimming pool be positioned in terms of the location of their windows overseeing their garden? So there's a lot of issues there, but it's safe to get planning permission, or at least get the pre-application advice from the local buildings control office to see.
There might be covenants affecting the property as well. So if you check the title deeds for the property, maybe, you know, there's 1960s, 70s, you know, some company made covenants. Covenants are what you can do, what you can't do against the property. They might, you know, forbid you to dig a hole, you know, in your garden.
Wow,
garden.
really?
So, you know, in case these covenants are enforced against you, so, you know, double check, you know, what you know, the title of the property says, you know, which might, you know, forbid you to do this kind of, you know, hole digging, you know. So.
SubhanAllah, so I might have to check, yeah? Even the kids out there with the shovels, yeah? They're having a little bit of fun in summertime. Mr. Matey Boy knocks the door and says, oi, check your deed, because I forbade that back in the 70s. So brothers and sisters, you might want to check your deeds, yeah, before you go out there and start digging holes everywhere, yeah? We don't want to look going like Swiss cheese out there, and subhanAllah, it's against the law and you get in trouble, yeah? So we don't want that. Always check the deed, mashallah. And I'm sure the professionals can help you check your deeds as well if you need that. Yeah, always consult a professional, inshallah. 02 03 637 6857, that's the number you need to call. Brother Abdullah is on the line. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum, yeah, Abdullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you, brother? Are you alright?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. You?
Yeah, good, alhamdulillah, yeah, Akhi Abdullah. What is your question?
Well, I don't know, I'm confused with who I'm talking now.
You're talking
I'm
to...
fine, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're live on the TV, but the TV has a delay to it because there's the signal goes up to outer space.
I got account with the Al-Wayan Bank, brother.
Okay, so you have a loan with a bank, a single bank. Yeah, we don't need to know the name, broski, yeah? Bismillah, continue. You got a loan?
TV, Walu. Okay, can you hear me now better?
I can hear you perfectly, bro. So you have a loan with the bank, yes?
Repeat again, please.
So you have a loan, or you have a mortgage with the bank. Halal mortgage.
I got account with the Al-Wayan Bank.
You have an account with the bank, yeah?
Yeah, I want just to find out, this bank is working by Shariah, is halal way the mortgage, or...
Okay, so the question is, subhanallah, is the bank, Jazakallah khair, Brother Abdullah, any other questions? Or just
I
that?
heard around brothers talking about the behind there's a different, they're not working in according to Sharia. Just I wanted to ask the brother, is true what the
okay, Jazakallah khair, yeah? But Barakallahu feek, Brother Abdullah, Jazakallah khair. We're gonna go to a break, yeah? What we're gonna do, Brother Abdullah, is answer your question on the other side, inshallah, yeah? So please stay tuned. We're going to go for a little commercial break, brothers and sisters, in a moment, inshallah ta'ala, in 1 minute's time. But I just thought I'd preempt that because it seems like we might have to give that one a little bit of extra time, inshallah ta'ala. Or not, Allahu alim, maybe the brother's going to say, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Allah knows best, yeah? But brothers and sisters, you can ask your questions too. The number is 0203 637 6857. That's 0203 637 6857. You got your questions. We got the people who can answer it, inshallah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you've got anything to do with your property, perhaps there's a hole in your roof, yeah, and you don't know what to do, and you want to know the law, if you want to maybe build a castle on top of your house, or you want to dig a tunnel all the way through your garden and make some underground bunker, Allahu alim, whatever it is, you can ask your questions here tonight. 0203 637 6857. It's the Eman Channel 857. Now, before we get to Brother Abdullah's question, inshallah ta'ala, when we get back to the break, I just want you to prepare, inshallah, brother. Yeah? So, brothers and sisters, we'll be back right after this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Muslim Central is the largest Islamic audio publisher online across multiple devices and platforms. We have over 12,000 Islamic audio lectures, debates, interviews and more. Over 100 plus speakers from around the world. Official publishers for Mufti Menk and others. Come closer to Allah with a sincere heart by listening to thousands of beneficial lectures that are uploaded regularly. Help us spread the word and earn magnanimous rewards. Visit muslimcentral.com and start listening.
Every 5 seconds, someone in the world becomes blind. A child becomes blind every minute. The reality is, through treatment, 80% of those with blindness can be cured. A simple process that millions cannot afford. Just £35 can give someone the gift of sight. Al Mustafa Welfare Trust have treated thousands of people with eyesight-related illnesses. With your help, we can save thousands more from a lifetime of darkness.
The Quran was verbally revealed by God to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, through the angel Gabriel. Donate Quran presents a brand new app to help you understand the Quran in the English language. It has some special features with the Quran in Arabic and English translation, with audio facilities, making it ideal for you and ideal for dawah. This app also has some of the following extra chapters, making it easy for you to understand the beautiful religion of Islam. Commentary of the Quran. Old and New Testament prophecies of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Women in Islam. Scientific truths in the Quran. How do I become a Muslim? A short guide to prayer. Whether you want to use the Quran for yourself or recommend it to a non-Muslim, the Donate Quran app is ideal. This app is available for free from the App Store and Play Store for both Apple and Android devices. Obtaining and sharing knowledge is obligatory for any Muslim. Download and share this app today.
This Ramadan, Eman Channel invites you to an evening of remembrance. Join Europe's largest iftar gathering on the 4th of June at the XL London. Replenish and reignite your Iman through an evening of inspirational talk, moving Quran recitation, and not to forget a delicious 3-course iftar. Start this Ramadan with a unique and uplifting evening of remembrance. Register now to reserve your free ticket. iftarinxl.co.uk.
This Azan is sponsored by Muslim Aid.
أشهد أن لا إله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. O Allah, Master of this perfect call and established prayer, grant Muhammad the intercession and the favor, and raise him to the honored station that you have promised him.
This Adhan was sponsored by Muslim Aid.
Relax and unwind with your family this Easter bank holiday weekend at the Family Break, Seeds of Mercy, featuring lectures, seminars, family story time and halal entertainment, with dedicated outdoor activities for adults and children. Hosted at the prestigious 4-star De Vere Hotel for 3 nights and 4 days. Relax and unwind with us this Easter bank holiday weekend. Book your places now by calling 0203 743 8483.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is the legal hour here on Eman Channel, and you can call in 0203 637 6857. That's 0203 637 6857. If you're just joining us now, here with us on the seat, we have beautiful brothers, mashallah, 2 of them, Allahu Akbar, to help answer our questions. We have Brother Nasar, mashallah, in the lovely checkered sort of grey bluey suit, mashallah. How you doing, Brother Nasar? You're right,
good,
yeah?
thank you.
Mashallah. And then we have Brother Farrukh, Allahu Akbar, with that lovely tie, mashallah. I like that tie. It's very, you know, mashallah. It's the one that I would probably wear, Allahu Akbar.
Matches my shirt.
Yeah, it matches perfectly, mashallah. And you got the, you know, the bow. See, when I was in school, it was about the knot. It weren't about much the tie. It was about how you did your knot. Yeah, mashallah, both of you got that special looking knot, Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, if you have your question, it's not about ties here on the show, by the way. This is the legal hour. You can ask your questions in regards to housing and conveyancing and business property law, as well as Islamic mortgages, inshallah ta'ala. You can call up 0203 637 6857. Just before we went for the break, we had a question from Brother Abdullah. Yeah, and there's a debate going on whether it should be for the Islamic Q&A show, because it was quite an Islamified, heated, loaded question. He asked, is a particular bank here in the UK, are they offering truly halal mortgages or not? Yeah. Now this is where we're going to fall into what we call a difference of opinion amongst the scholars of Islam. Some say halal, some say grey area, or makruh, or haram. Some say it's a grey area, stay away from it. We're not sure, they're not completely clear. Some say, no, it's disliked, you shouldn't do it. Some say haram. Yeah. Others say, no, it's halal. Yeah, but if you would like to give a case, it's up to you, brother. But Brother Abdullah's question was, is such and such mortgage halal?
Yeah, I mean, well, there are banks out there that offer Sharia compliant mortgages. You know, speak to them, and you know they'll give you full information. You know who's what Sharia committee looks after the Islamic principles of that company. Now, as far as the legal side is concerned, we technically what happens now in Islamic finance mortgage, what happens, the bank, they co-own the property, the banks co-own the property with the customer. Then the second element of the transaction is the bank, they lease the property to the customer. Yeah, so in other words, you become the tenant of the bank, and the bank is your landlord, and what you're paying monthly to them is rental payments. And inshallah in the future, when the customer pays off the full rental payments, the bank transfers the property into the name of the customers. But again, yeah, there is, like I said, difference of opinion. And the banks that do offer these services, they are backed up by Sharia.
So it's not like they came along
exactly,
and they took a sticker, they went to some nice printing shop, designed Sharia compliant sticker, put it on top of their product and said this is Sharia compliant. There is actually people who have studied the deen, Allahu Akbar, who are backing some of their products, and there are some who have studied the deen, subhanallah, who came to a different conclusion, said no, this is haram. But as the brother said, go to the provider, find out the information for yourself, speak to the scholars of Islam and make your decision there, Brother Abdullah. Don't just follow what the Funa said, the next man next door said, they're haram, or next man said, no, it's all halal. Yeah, make dua to Allah, ask Allah for guidance, and then do your own bit in terms of the research, speak to the scholars, and then make your own decision. Khalas. And Allah Ta'ala, of course, is the one who guides, and none can guide other than Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Yes, Jazakallah khair. Anything you would like to add? By the way, brothers, you must, because you're in this sphere of work all the time, what are the most common things that people always come to you guys with? And maybe there's some people out there who are a bit shy, a bit phone shy, don't want to ask. What sort of common questions you get, and what's the answer, bro? Bismillah.
Brothers, I mean, can I just pick up on what you said, just going back to the point? I think what is important is it was a directed question, and we have to be careful as responsible individuals and as a responsible channel. We cannot just speculate and act on hearsay, exactly. Because the financial position of Al Riyan is on the line, and we wouldn't want to say anything that undermines that. Obviously, they have followed the procedure. It's fully signed off, and that is something and that's the reason I just wanted to say the reason why we don't want to try and address that question, and I think your position was right on that. So in terms of your direct question, I'll get a lot of time is of the essence in legal contracts, but it's more of an essence with clients, because a lot of the clients want things done, a week gone. It used to be a day, but now it's about a week. We're in a time of social media, everything's through emails. When I started practice, we used to wait for the postman to arrive. Believe it or not, it's only 15 years ago. We used to take a couple of days to reply. The other solicitor used to take a couple of, so it had it
everything's fast paced now. You know, you got emails, you have to be on
point.
Whereas
I sent it an hour ago, and you don't go back to
whereas now I pick up emails on a Sunday afternoon, and you just think so. There's no distinction between